Hello to everybody who's dreaming of the 12th largest municipality. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi everybody, Chris Gethard here. And if you're not in the mood for a long intro, I'll just ask you. I got a show in Anaheim this week, very special one. Check it out, punchup.live/Chris Gethard. And subscribe for our bonus content at beautifulanonymous.com. In the meantime, I didn't do a great job timing the intro. I think it's probably only like 5 minutes. You skip about that far ahead, you'll be right at the beginning of the phone call. Hi everybody, it's Chris Gethard, and I'm so excited to welcome you to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. Very, very quickly, I want to remind you, if you're in Southern California, I've got a show this week in Anaheim. It's being thrown as part of a convention held by the nonprofit that I'm a part of. I've spent the last year and a half building a thing called Laughing Together. We've taught over 5,000 people in our first year. We send artists into schools. We teach comedy, all with curriculums approved by mental health counselors who say, yes, this stuff is good to get people talking, connecting, comfortable with failure, good in school environments, gets kids playing. Again, that sense of playfulness, take your face out of your phone and get back to playing. All that stuff's there. So it's a hugely important part of my life. This organization has not only helped me and my family by giving me this gig, but has allowed me to send my art in a more altruistic direction. So if you're in Southern California, come out to Anaheim, punchup.live/Chris Gethard, come to the Wellness Together Conference, the Student Mental Wellness Conference. Come say hi and see me and a bunch of great comedians, and know that your money is going towards supporting something really good. And thanks to everybody who came out last week in Boston, in Jersey, in Baltimore, Philly, Connecticut. It means a lot. Hope you enjoyed the shows. Thank you. Simply put, legit. Thank you. What else do we have to talk about? I've seen some people online starting to ask what's the status of the magazine. The magazine, people sent in so much interesting stuff, funny stuff that I think hits a tenor and tone in the spirit of what Beautiful Anonymous is, but that on a phone call you can't attain. It's kind of like and some people really stepped up and sent me things where I go, ooh, this is a new angle on the whole premise of contributing anonymously. So right now where it's at is this. I have a mountain of stuff. I am scanning it. I have a friend who is someone who is smart with design, who once it's all scanned is going to take it and start breaking it down. And then I'm not sure how many copies we're going to print, but everybody who's signed up at beautifulanonymous.com, you will get first dibs. My thought is that people at the upper tiers will get copies in color, and then the people at the lower tiers will get black and white. And if we have any others left over, maybe I'll sell them, but I don't anticipate there being too many of those, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be rad. Thanks for asking, everybody. Also, we are recording this on the day that our episode came out. You're listening on October 8th. We're recording this on October 1st because I want to get it done before our tour. But I have to say, I can already see, at least up until now, there's been a lot of support and love for our prior caller. This was, of course, the caller that was telling us about plant pathology and ducks and Oregon, and then halfway through also revealed that she was in the aftermath of an addiction that had a lot of real life consequences, and already seeing people leaving comments saying, thank you for your open-hearted vulnerability and speaking to lived experience. I am one of many who will benefit from this conversation for all kinds of reasons. So caller last week, you really put yourself out there in some ways that were unexpected, but I'm already seeing a lot of people responding and saying it's helping them. So I hope that helps you to see it. And thanks again for opening up as always. This week's caller is great. Again, continuing this trend that I've noticed, that this year, for some reason, we're getting more people for a show that has a reputation as being solidly and firmly a fan base of middle-aged, mostly women, not exclusively, but that being the strongest demographic in a way that's a little unusual for a show hosted by me, a dopey white guy comedian. All of a sudden we're getting younger callers again. We've had teenagers and people in their 20s. This is not that, 26 years old, but you're going to hear the bulk of what we talked about in the beginning. She goes, listen to what happened to me before I even turned 25. And it is. I don't think I reacted in the moment as much as I should have to realize it's a head spinning amount of life to live by the age of 25. And as you'll hear, this caller was left in a circumstance where she has to move on physically from her life's track when her life is just getting started, when she's still that young. And we are able to talk about that. And it's not heavy and it's not particularly dramatic. There's also a lot of giggles along the way. She lives in a place that's very, very specific, very different from where I live. And then, therefore, the goals of what constitutes maybe moving and leaping to someplace bigger is a little bit different than a lot of us might say. That being said, it's a joyous phone call with someone who sounds so legitimately unique and cool and self-sufficient and in touch with herself. Just a chance to talk with someone who seemingly knows themselves this well at such a young age is such a joy. And being able to have some laughs along the way, I have a feeling a lot of you are going to love it. Enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey,
Oh my gosh, Chris.
what's up?
How are you doing today?
I'm kind of running in 10 different directions, but that's okay. Some of that's of my own creation.
Okay.
But in general, I'm okay. Things are all right. How about you?
Good. Not too bad. I have the day off work, so that's nice. I actually just got home from a little road trip yesterday, so it's a relaxation day.
Where was your road trip?
It was just literally like 6 hours away to pick up some winter tires.
You have 6 hours for tires.
Yeah, I found a good deal on Marketplace.
We talking 6 hours there, 6 hours back, or 3 hours there, 3 hours back?
No, 6 there, 6 back.
How many states did you cross?
Oh, I want you to guess where I'm from because I may not be American.
Interesting. You sound American.
Do I?
Do you not get that?
No,
Are you Canadian?
I am Canadian, yes.
That's why you sound American.
Yeah, no, I live on the west coast of Canada.
I love it out there.
Mhm. You've been to Vancouver, right?
Well, you can vouch for me. At some point in the past 10 years, working in American entertainment just means you spend all your time in Vancouver. You don't
Yeah,
ever actually
you know
film
what?
anything in Los Angeles anymore. You just go to Vancouver and you stay in this weird hotel called the Sutton Place, and you film all your stuff in Vancouver. Everything I film is in Vancouver now.
Yeah. So I live actually about 9-10 hours north of Vancouver.
Oh, that's up there. So yeah, that's an
Yeah.
area where you'll drive 6 hours for good tires.
Yeah. Good winter tires, absolutely. They're worth it for sure.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. That's a
Yeah.
different conversation right there. Well, I'm glad you got such a good deal on the tires. So you're living up in like the north. Like, what are your winters like? Are you in one of those areas where it's just like sunny for 8 months at a time and then dark for
No.
9 months?
Well, I mean, I guess like our winters typically like we can have like a huge dump of snow in April. And then we'll have some really hot months. Our warmest months are July and August. And then after that and before that, you're getting like maybe 15 degrees. And this is Celsius. So I don't know what it would be in Fahrenheit, but it's not very warm.
Okay.
And then the rest of that is just like right now it's gloomy outside and it's definitely turning fall out there.
Yeah. So I imagine you didn't want to just call to talk about tires.
No, actually. What I was telling Andrea about was that I work in the trades. I was a heavy duty mechanic for 8 years.
Whoa.
And then I injured myself actually, and I had to have a couple surgeries and switch up my career so that I didn't have to have another one. And this all happened before I was 25.
Jeez. Sorry you got
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate. I grew up around, my dad and my mom own their own company. So like I grew up around trucks and equipment and everything, and always was outside with him. So that's always what I wanted to do. So yeah, it was really, really a bummer when I had to change it all up and switch up everything I knew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's hard. That's hard. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to play into the stereotypes, but I'm sure you've run into it all the time. I bet a common sentence when you tell people that story is, you don't usually find too many women who go into work with heavy machinery.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's all you hear. Like my job specifically. So I've been at my place of employment for 10 years. This is my 10th year working there. So when I had to change careers, I was able to stay with the same company. I just moved into a different department, which is super nice that I didn't have to let like everything go. But when I started there, I am still and have been the only woman that they've ever hired to actually work on the floor in the shop. And they actually had to renovate the building to put in a women's change room for me because there was no space for me to get changed, to put my coveralls, to have my work boots.
They had to build a new room just for you to get changed in and out of your clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you get a sense, have other women applied, or are you like the first one who even brought this idea to the table?
There's definitely been other women that have applied, but the thing is too, is like, just because you enjoy it, you have to be able to do it. And when you look at me, you can see that I would be able to do it because I am a 6 foot, like pretty not fit, but I'm a fairly big woman, right? Like I'm a stocky woman. So like I don't know if they just were like, oh yeah, like she can do it, or I don't know, but there's definitely been other women that have applied, but so far I'm still the only one that's actually gone through there.
Now, can I ask what the nature of the injury was? And if you're like, I don't want to dwell on it, I get that too.
No, absolutely. So I herniated 3 discs in my back. Between L4 down to S1, I herniated 3 discs, and this was all like at the same time too. It wasn't like one after another or something. This was all at the same time. Yeah. So then that happened in like late October in 2019, and I ended up having to be like medevac down to Vancouver, actually, from where I live, so about 9 hours away. Yeah.
Helicopter?
Yeah. It got to the point where basically I was crawling from point A to point B because I couldn't stand. The pain was so intense that I was like dropping from the pain. My legs were numb, my feet were numb. Like they say once you get like your saddle region, so like your groin area, if things in there start getting numb from the nerve being pinched, and that's like an emergency situation, and that's what it got to. So that's when I ended up getting flown down and had
this
surgery.
Was a workplace injury.
It was, but I got denied the like up here it's called WCB. They denied me for it because they didn't believe that it happened at work. So
that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So after my first surgery, I had my first one in April of 2020, so right in the midst of COVID, and that was something else too, because it was like I remember laying on that table in the OR, and everyone is just suited right up, like they're looking like they have hazmat suits on, and I remember having a little bit of a panic attack before they put me out with the anesthesia. That was wild.
Yeah, that's nuts. It's nuts. Andrea does point out, if you're going to have a panic attack, one of the best ways it can end is with someone anesthetizing you.
Right? Yeah.
There's been a few panic attacks I've had in my life where if someone gave me something that would make me just drift off to slumber, I would have gladly accepted that offer.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now wait, I may
Yeah.
have misheard you. Did I hear you say, you're not working with the heavy machinery anymore, but are you with the same company again?
I am. I'm with the same company. So after I had that first surgery, I went back to work and I was working on the floor. I was only off work for like 3 months after my first surgery. I went back to work working on the floor, and then I worked for about a year and a half before I started having a lot, like, still ongoing pain, because they only operated on the one disc in the first operation because it was affecting, like, I had one leg that was affected. So then in October of 2022, I ended up going back down and seeing my surgeon, and I had another surgery the day before I turned 25 because I was having it affect my other leg. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm literally just turned 25. I'm way too young to be having this many operations on my back already because of my job. So I took 6 months off and then went back and got into the parts department. So now I sell parts for all the trucks.
Now, my instinct is that if I got injured at the workplace, and we in the States we call it workman's comp. I think that's the thing that you said you were denied.
Same thing. Yeah.
That would indicate to me that the powers that be at the workplace fought me on that and dug in their heels on that. And I think one logic piece I'm looking for is a lot of times that's a company you don't go back to work for in a situation like that.
Right.
One would think.
Yeah. So in my situation, like, our workers' comp is kind of like a completely separate entity than my workplace. So, like, my workplace was fighting for me because, like, I mean, they knew that it happened there. They knew how it went down. So they were fighting for me, but the other entity, completely different thing. Our workers' comp were like just denied it every time. It didn't matter what anybody said. So it wasn't my workplace's fault. They weren't like, oh yeah, no, that didn't happen here either. Like, it's totally on you. It happened at home or whatever. So I didn't blame them for how it went down.
So who is it? Like a government investigator comes and checks it all out? And they're the one that's
basically.
And
yeah.
they go, no, we're not going to give you extra money for recovery time because it didn't happen at work.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I had to file a claim saying like all this happened. And, like when it happened, I went and filed like a first aid report with the first aid attendants at my job. And, they take all that and they go and do their little investigation and then have meetings with me and everything. And they still just decided that it didn't happen at work.
But I, as an American, was under the impression that Canada is a wonderland where everything related to social progressivism and healthcare is a dream.
No, unfortunately. I mean, I had to fight the doctors to prove them that I was in pain. I was in so much pain from my back that like I wasn't faking this. This was like a real thing. Like, it was really affecting me. And it took so long to actually get like recognized or noticed that I was really going through this, that like my legs were really numb. Like I could not walk. Like this is affecting my day-to-day life. And it took so long to get through to them. Do
you miss being out on the floor? I have to imagine there was an adrenaline rush handling those machines.
Yeah. No, I absolutely loved it. I still love it. Like, my dad still has trucks and equipment and stuff. So I just go over there and he'll text me, what are you doing this weekend? Can we do this on the truck? We need to do this. And it's like, yeah, okay. So no, I still get my fix of it for sure, but I really do miss it.
When you're talking about the trucks, what pieces of equipment are we talking here?
So like your 18 wheelers, your trucks that are hauling hauling your groceries, hauling like your bulldozers, your low beds, like all that stuff. Your big trucks, semi trucks.
You load your trucks are so big that you put like if you said I work with bulldozers, I would have been like, that's cool, that's big trucks. But then you're like, no, I work with trucks so big that we put the bulldozers on them to move the bulldozers. That's big trucks. Bulldozers are small by your scale.
Well, I mean, compared to, yeah, some equipment.
Damn. That's cool. I'm sorry you got hurt. I'm sorry you got taken out like that. That's you know, and I'm sure you think about it, and I'm sure the doctors have walked you through it. If it's herniated discs, that's the thing that your whole life might, you got to be really careful and monitor, and could come back
Yeah.
to haunt you. That's brutal. You said it was
Yeah.
all by the time you're 25.
Yeah, I'm 26 now, almost 27. So I just had my last surgery almost 2 years ago. It's getting close to 2 years ago.
Feeling a lot better finally, or no?
I'm feeling better for sure. I mean, it's not like it was when I had to go for my second one, because after that first one, I was still in an immense amount of pain. But between this, because I still have one disc herniated, but they just didn't operate on it because it wasn't actually affecting anything. And so far, like I'm still able to do everything day to day. I definitely still get very sore. Like on my little road trip I had to stop, multiple times just to get out and stretch because I can't sit for too long. I can't, I have to be careful of like how I pick things up. Like I picked up my paddleboard, an inflatable blow up paddleboard. So they're not heavy, but just the way that I picked it up and I had the pain shoot down my back, across my hips, down my leg, and like felt everything go numb. So it's like those little tiny things you have to be so careful of.
Now you're almost 27. Here's one thing that's striking to me is you think about a conversation, and again, I'm not saying stereotypes are a good thing. I'm just saying if you told somebody, hey, what was that episode of Beautiful and Honest about? Oh, it was a person who worked with heavy machinery, herniated 3 discs, had multiple surgeries. They'd probably go, oh, let me guess, like a 48-year-old man. And you go, no, 25-year-old woman. Like it really defies so many of the expectations. As a 26-year-old woman, what's the non-work life like? The social life, personal life? Because I remember being 26 and it did not involve any of these concerns, at least for me, when I was a 26-year-old almost 2 decades ago, admittedly. But I'm wondering, are there other ways in which you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm a 26-year-old person, just like other 26-year-olds. Stand-up paddleboarding is an indicator to me of like, oh no, yeah, there's also just some mid-20s behavior going on too. You're out here having fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I mean, before I did a lot. So after my surgery, like I had to change a bit more of my personal life around too. Like I ended up trading my pickup in just because I had a lift kit in it, big tires. So it was kind of hard for me to get in and out of it. But I have an ATV, so I love going quadding. I go out, I go for so many hikes. I have a dog, so we go out exploring all the time. I spend a lot of time at my mom and dad's house, honestly. Like they live out of town. They have acreage. They got cows, chickens, more dogs for my dog to run around and play with. And I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a typical, I don't want to sound weird, but like, I don't feel like I'm a typical 26-year-old. Like I grew up like working for my dad every summer. Like I don't really party. I don't drink. I don't really do any, I don't know. I'm not a super social person.
And I'm just trying to get a sense of it. Like when you went to school back in, I think, do they call it high school in Canada or is it secondary school?
Yeah. High school. Yeah.
High school. Like, are you from an area of Canada? I mean, you're up there many, many hours north of Vancouver out on the coast. Like, are there a lot of families where the kids are working with their families and stuff you wouldn't expect from young people, or are you an outlier? Or like, are there other kids who are just like, yeah, my dad's a brand strategist, and I get fucked up on the weekends, and you're like, no, 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 me and my dad are gonna spend the summer transporting bulldozers.
Yeah, so, well, actually, it's funny because, so I spent the summer building playgrounds.
So you would, as a
But,
child, build playgrounds for
yeah.
children to play on, which is sort of indicative
Yeah,
of the type of thing I'm saying. I like this. You've had
yeah.
this unusual life.
Yeah, my dad, so like north of Vancouver, my dad was the only person that was like certified to build playgrounds. So we would go all over BC because that's where I live in BC. So we'd go all over BC. Like they've gone up to Inuvik, which is in the Northwest Territories, and put in a playground. And it was really cool. It was definitely an abnormal childhood. Like this was from when I was probably like 10 or so until I
10.
got a full-time job where I'm
You were
at
10
now.
years
Yeah.
old, and instead of playing on playgrounds, you were like hauling the lumber and metal and welding equipment
Well,
to
I got to
install the
play on them when
playgrounds.
we were done. I got to try them out first.
Let's pause here, everybody. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed talking to this caller, and right around here is when I realized that I would be giggling a lot. I think you will be as well. We will be right back. Thanks so much. If you've listened to this show even for a few episodes, I think you will agree that mental health is a topic that's hugely important. You know that that's the case with me, and I think a lot of the people who have rallied around this show would say that it's a beautiful thing that the conversation around mental health has changed as much as it has in recent years. It's one of the reasons I'm so happy to tell you about Talkspace, because I remember the challenge of finding my first therapist over 20 years ago. It was scary. You had to commit to driving to some place, and you might even know, you might get to the waiting room and go, the vibe here is off. I don't know if I want to ever come back here. And then you do the session and you feel uptight the whole time because of that. And then you drive home and you go, am I really going to have to set aside a whole day of driving again? And this and that. Point being, the accessibility was not great back in the day. The affordability was not great back in the day. These things have changed, and Talkspace is leading the charge on that. Talkspace is so accessible. You do it on your own time, from your own locations. You can meet online from anywhere. You could be in the comfort of your own home. You could be in the middle of your car. You could go take a walk through your neighborhood, make it pleasant for yourself. You can even text your therapist through Talkspace and keep it at a level where you can just have things on record via the magic of modern technology. And I'm telling you, that accessibility is a dream compared to what it was like 20 something years ago when I first found therapy. And kudos to Talkspace for setting the standards on accessible mental health care, let alone affordability. Let's talk about that, because we all know therapy can get costly. It can pile up quick, but Talkspace is very affordable. It's also in network with most insurance providers. Most insured members have a $0 copay. How's that for affordable? $0. Talkspace is the leading virtual therapy provider. They make getting the help you need easy, accessible, and affordable. You can sign up online. It's so easy. You get paired with a licensed provider that's the right fit for your needs. That usually happens within 48 hours. You can also switch providers at no extra cost. Talkspace makes getting help convenient because you can take your appointments from anywhere you want. Your comfort, your privacy, your own home. Talkspace provides personalized treatment for individuals, couples, LGBTQIA+, veterans, teens. There's all sorts of people out there specializing in treatment for all sorts of groups. You are not alone. Okay, there's somebody ready to have your back. And as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/beautiful and enter the promo code SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/beautiful, enter the promo code SPACE80. You'll get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/beautiful. The promo code is SPACE80.
There's something powerful about women who are unapologetically themselves. I've always been inspired by Marilyn Monroe, whose beauty isn't just in her appearance, it's in her confidence and her authenticity. She doesn't shy away from imperfections. because she doesn't have any. But that's something truly I admire. Her beauty really radiates from the inside out, and it's this kind of energy that makes her stand out. For over 10 years, Thrive Cosmetics has celebrated the strength and beauty of women who inspire us. But it's more than just makeup, it's about becoming your best self, thriving in every moment, and empowering others to do the same. And that's why I love Thrive Cosmetics. Not only are their products certified 100% vegan and cruelty free, but they're also made with clean, skin loving ingredients and high performance formulas. Plus, for every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates products and funds to help communities thrive. It feels amazing knowing that my favorite Thrive products are supporting communities I care about. One product I absolutely love is the brilliant Eye Brightener. This eyeshadow highlighter stick instantly brightens and opens your eyes, giving you an effortless, refreshed look. It's so easy to apply and blend. And with 28 shades, there's a perfect one for every occasion. Celebrate the women in your life with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/beauty. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSE, medics.com/beauty for 20% off your first order.
This is Esther, host of Once Upon a Crime. If you're fascinated by true crime and want a podcast that gives you the inside scoop on some of the world's most cold-blooded true crime cases, subscribe to Once Upon a Crime. Each week I cover a new case and give you the why behind the stories you hear in the news. You'll hear details you won't learn anywhere else, with new topics covered each month, like kids who kill, family annihilators, celebrity crimes, and of course, some of history's most notorious murders. Subscribe to Once Upon a Crime on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube.
Thanks to all the advertisers who help this show exist. Now let's get back to the phone call. You were 10 years old, and instead of playing on playgrounds, you were like hauling the lumber and metal and welding equipment to install
I got to play
the
on them when
playgrounds.
we were done. I got to try them out first.
So you would go with a crew. I'm sure you're the only 10-year-old. How many other people are on the crew that your dad assembles for this?
Well, it was like, it'd be me and my sister, my mom and my dad, and then he'd probably have like 2 other guys until my sister and I got old enough, and then he fired everyone else, and it was just us because, I don't know, that's all we needed.
How is your sister older or younger?
She's older than me by 2 years.
So they roll up. It's a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, 2 kids of an age where it's perfectly viable that they might just play on a playground. And instead,
Yeah.
Are you putting on like a welder's helmet? Are you putting on big, thick leather work gloves? What are you putting on?
Oh, yeah. I got pictures of me welding with my dad, like welding the grid together that all the posts and everything go on to.
Do the children from this area gather and go, who's this super child bringing us? Who's this welding
Honestly,
child?
there was always, because we'd have to put up like this orange snow fence around it because we'd start from finish. So like mark out the area, dig it all up, take all the grass away, put the border in, start like with the grid and everything. So we'd have to fence it all off, and there'd always be kids just hovering around the fence. And honestly, they'd be so confused, like, why are those kids allowed in there and we're not?
And then you strap on an iron helmet with a strip of glass to see and fire up welding equipment. And these kids are like, who are these superhero children? And why are they allowed to do this?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Because I run the Bobcat and excavator and everything too, and
At 10
and do all that stuff. Well, yeah, I learned to run it out. I think it was like 5 or 6 when I learned to run it. I got photos of me in there too.
So So there's other children probably even older than you, and you're just like quietly not addressing them and climbing into the driver's seat of an excavator and digging pits in their neighborhood to build them things that children should have, and that you
Yeah.
and then you drive away and they wonder forever what the fuck just happened back there.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And you said your dad was one of the only people certified in the area to do this. But when he gets certified, does this certification board know he will be working? There will be child labor involved in this, or do we keep that quiet?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that part is just like, you know what? They're my kids. They're here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But no, it was awesome, honestly. Because my dad, I don't know, my dad is a workaholic, honestly. Like I admire my parents so much. They are such hard workers, and just everything that they have done for my sister and I. Like, he's had his own company since he was like 23 years old, something like that, and he's still doing it all. So like I'm not surprised. Like, looking back, I definitely was like at 10, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I just want to go to the park. Like, why am I building the park? But now I'm like, I respect them so much, and I'm so grateful for how we were raised in that way. And like, I feel like I'm such a hard worker now. I definitely have them to thank for that.
I bet. I mean, I'm laughing and I'm flabbergasted, but I also have complete respect for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder, are there ever parts of you now or back then that it sounds like you were always excited about it, but was there ever a party that was like, I'd love to just like set up a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos with another kid? Or did you also have those well-rounded aspects of the childhood when you weren't using heavy-duty construction equipment to dig large pits?
No, I definitely, sometimes I think where I'm like, I know I didn't have a normal childhood where I couldn't just like be like, hey guys, I'm going over to my friend's or so-and-so's house for a few hours and I'll be back whenever. Like, it was very much, and I always lived out of town too. So it was, I had to ride my bike or get a ride from my mom and dad or something to be able to go to a friend's house, because we didn't live just next door down the road. So it was very much like, no, you hung out with them this day, you're not going to someone else's house for another week or whatever, or you don't hang out with anyone else on a school night because that's a school night. I have chores to do when I get home. I have things to do. So sometimes I felt like it was hard because a lot of my friends or a lot of the people that I grew up around didn't have the same morals or wasn't raised the same way that I was. So it was difficult for me to understand why I was being raised the way I was, not criticized, but like, I don't know what you would call it.
Held to a different standard, it sounds like. Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to understand that, of like why, like, say like Seth down the road is allowed to go to his friend's house every single day after school and I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
But I get it now, and I don't hold anything against them for that. That's for sure.
What do we think the future holds?
I don't know. I would like to move. The place where I live, I've born and raised here. I've never left. I'd like to go somewhere else, experience some other place, like figure everything out on my own, because here I just, I have my mom and dad and everything to help me out, but I really don't know. I want to go somewhere, and I don't know what I want to do for career-wise either, because I don't want to be in parts forever. I miss pulling wrenches, but I don't know if I'm able to do it again.
when you fantasize about living in other parts of the world, what are the what are the what are the places that pop into your head?
Where the place where I went and picked up my tires. So it's called Kamloops. It's a really nice. It's probably like 4 hours away from Vancouver, northeast, I think, of Vancouver.
Kamloops. I'm looking it up now. So you want to make that's the type of place where you'd go, like, I'd like to live there for a while.
Yeah, it feels like it's kind of more central to a lot of places. Like it's still a ways from like the really big cities like Vancouver and everything, but it's further south than where I am now. So the winters are shorter. It's not going to be as dreary all the time, hopefully, but at the same aspect, which I'm not too sure about, is I know there's more risks for like forest fires and it's a lot drier down there.
Now, I've looked up Kamloops, and I'm not judging, but I will have some fun with this and say, I did say, like, when you fantasize about living anywhere in the world, what are some of the places that pop in your head? And you could have said, like, Paris. You could have been like, I'd really love to maybe spend a couple of years in New York or Tokyo. Or if you're not a city person, like, I could go, I grew up so far north. What if I just wound up on a beach somewhere? What if I went to Costa Rica? What if I wound up there? And you picked Kamloops, which seems like a nice enough place, but the Wikipedia entry says that it is the 12th largest municipality in British Columbia. The 12th largest city just in your area. Like, you're not even thinking
it's
Vancouver.
bigger than my city.
You're not even thinking, well, it sounds like everything's bigger than your city from what you've laid out.
No, I'm not. I don't like big cities. I'm very much like, I want to go somewhere where I can go and I can go camping. I can go to the lake on the weekend, but I can go paddleboarding and go quadding and get out and explore. I don't like big cities. Quadding, like ATV.
Oh, quadding. Driving the quads. I thought you said clotting, like clotted cream. And I didn't know
no.
That was. So you're not sitting here like, I want to wind up a beach bum in Hawaii. I want to wind up looking out my window and seeing the skyline of Manhattan. You're dreaming of Kamloops.
Well, I'm more so just dreaming somewhere where I can see, like somewhere, I don't know, more Kamloops vibe. Like,
Kamloops,
not big city. I don't want to see
the Kamloops vibe, the notorious Kamloops vibe that we've all heard so much about. So, I'm also reading about the history of Kamloops right now.
Okay, well, don't do that.
I will just say it was in 1811 the first Europeans arrived, and trader spent the winter there, and in May of the following year, so 1812, a trader named Alexander Ross established a post originally known as Fort Kamloops. So you are technically moving to Kamloops. But I guess over the years we went with Kamloops instead of Kamloops.
Yeah,
sounds like in 1862 a real nasty smallpox epidemic swept through Kamloops, so you're going to want to watch out for that. And, oh my god, Kamloops.
Yeah, so I'm like 6 hours north of that. That's where I am.
6 hours north of Kamloops.
Yeah.
Some of the neighborhoods within Kamloops involve. Have you thought more? Would you rather live in Bachelor Heights or Brocklehurst, or maybe down by Heffley Creek?
Oh God, I don't know the difference.
Juniper Ridge. Just the names of these neighborhoods in Kamloops sound fake. I love it. I kid, but I also do genuinely love talking to you and getting to hear about life. Like, I'm in New Jersey, which is the most densely populated state in the United States. Like the most people living shoulder to shoulder, more than anywhere in the States, and I've actually read at times, but I don't know if it's exaggeration, that like New Jersey is more densely populated than India, which people have in their mind this image of India as this super, super densely populated country, and apparently Jersey's more. So I'm kind of living in, as far as people in North America, it sounds to me like you and I are living sort of opposite lifestyles based on what you could do on this continent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like when you say so densely populated, like I'm looking out my window right now and I see nobody. Like I can see some cars driving down the main highway, but there's nobody outside my window. Nobody on the street, nobody like outside their house. Like very opposite.
You can see the main highway from your window.
Yeah, like the highway that goes through town, yeah.
So you live, yeah. No, I've watched multiple people walk their dogs past my house in the time we've been on the phone together. I'm going to start looking out the window right now, and I'm going to let you know. I mean, first of all, I hear somebody with a lawnmower. There's somebody out there, but I'm going to start watching right now. I'm going to let you know the next time I see a person or a car go by, and we'll see what's more desolate, hours north of Kamloops or the middle of New Jersey. Oh, there's a car.
Yeah.
10
I was going to say,
seconds.
if there was a car or something that went by here, you'd be hearing my dog barking.
Yeah.
Because he's laying right beside me, and I have my window open, so she hears it.
Now so when you're up that far north, and again, I glanced at the Wikipedia mostly to make fun of the neighborhood names of Kamloops, but it also sounds like an area where there's a real connection to the indigenous populations as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is for sure. Like we have a park in town here that it's been one name for years and years and years, like as long as I remember. I still call it that name, but it was changed a couple years ago to an indigenous name to represent like the territory that our city is on.
Yeah. I know. I don't expect you to speak towards it, nor do I want to force you into it. But it's funny because, again, Americans, especially liberal Americans, like to sort of fetishize Canada as like, that's the country that's doing everything right. But when you read about the indigenous communities in Canada, a lot of them say things are rough, really rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, it is for sure. There was actually, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, Kamloops is one of the places where they did find like a mass grave under honestly, I forget where it was, but I do believe it was in Kamloops, and they found a mass grave from a residential school.
You'll get there
it's
someday.
Definitely not.
You'll get to Kamloops someday. You live the dream. I want to move to the 12th largest municipality in British Columbia. You know, the one where they find the mass graves. I'm really dreaming big. Someday I'll live in a city where they find mass graves.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that when I was thinking about Kamloops, okay?
I kid.
It's definitely not all, sunshine and roses like everybody makes Canada out to be. I mean, I absolutely wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I love Canada. I love BC. I love where I live, but no place is perfect.
I recently saw a Reddit thread where somebody was like, how would America react if another country invaded Canada? And every comment was like Americans going like, yo, do you understand how quickly we'd step in and fucking destroy anybody who tried to mess with Canada? That's Canada. You don't mess with Canada. That's our friend. And I did.
Right.
I was pretty shocked at the instant aggression that Americans were showed on that internet thread. Just the idea that anybody would mess with Canada. It's like, we'd be there and kick your ass so fast. You leave Canada alone. Everybody leave Canada.
Right? We're so nice.
Yeah, you are. And I think I've said versions of this on the show, so I won't dwell on it. But I will say this. The legendary niceness of Canadians is totally truthful. But when you meet a Canadian dickhead, man, are they a dickhead. And that doesn't get talked enough about. That's not brought up as much in like the pop culture image of the friendly, nice Canadian.
No, definitely not.
That
It's
a rude
yeah.
Canadian, you will find few people more infuriating than the Canadians who aren't kind and nice. That being said, the majority of them, I mean, the nicest people on planet Earth. Up there with anybody, up there with the Irish, up there with the Sri Lankans, who when I went to Sri Lanka, I said, how are these people so nice? But man,
Yeah.
like you don't want a flight attendant on Air Canada mad at you. They'll make you feel horrible about yourself. And they'll say please and thank you. They'll say please and thank you in a way that makes you feel like the worst piece of shit that's ever been born on planet.
You know, yeah.
Like,
and you're welcome. I have a bad habit sometimes. I'll be like holding a door open for someone and they don't say thank you, and I will so pettily just be like, you're welcome, you know, like hello.
it's true. Like when I don't know how to explain it, but there's an under talked about thing because the image of the friendly Canadian is true, like I said, and is all over pop culture and is earned because Canadians are nice people. Canadians can also say the words thank you in a way that makes you feel like a big piece of shit who wishes you were never born.
Yeah, we're pretty versatile.
Love it. I love it. 21 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
What else would you like to talk about? The most open-ended question one could ask. Got 20 minutes left. What do you want to talk about? Turns out we got a lot to talk about, both here and in the 5 questions. It's a fun one. We'll be right back. There's all sorts of sleep hacks out there that you've heard of, right? Maybe go get one of them really expensive, fancy white noise machines. Maybe you have an eating strategy. I don't eat after a certain time of night. Maybe you're doing specialized yoga right before bed. Or maybe it's simpler than that. Everybody, maybe you need to transform your bed. And maybe you need to do so via Boll and Branch, who I have to tell you, I just put a new Boll and Branch waffle blanket on my bed. And it rules. It's super soft. It's made with 100% organic cotton, and it has leveled up my bedding game. You're going to want to start, of course, with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets. They feel buttery, breathable. They get softer with every wash, and those sheets are the perfect foundation for better sleep. It might be as simple as that. You can easily add Boll & Branch's bed blankets, duvets, quilts, all without making your bed feel too heavy or too hot. And I'm telling you, you want a personal endorsement from me? I sleep every night underneath a blanket from Boll & Branch. And as soon as we got it, Hallie saw it and was like, oh, this is awesome. Rad. She ripped that old blanket off the bed and was like, this is an undeniable improvement. And I don't bring up stuff my wife said unless I know she will vouch for me. If you ever run into her and ask her, for real, the waffle blanket came out of the packaging. She was like, oh, nice. And we swapped it out right away, and it's awesome. You can feel that quality immediately. The sheets, as soon as you lay down in them, you know that it's a different experience. And one of those rare items that the more they are designed in a way where they don't degrade over time. Actually, the more you wash them, the softer they get. I am not a great sleeper. Having quality bedding absolutely helps. Boll & Branch is making the coziest bedding you're going to find this fall. Go ahead and get on it. And again, that waffle blanket in particular, 2 very big thumbs up from me. Boll & Branch sheets are loved by millions of sleepers. Boll & Branch offers free design consultations so you can build your dreamiest bed with a dedicated stylist. Best of all, Boll & Branch gives you a 30-night worry-free guarantee with free shipping and returns on all U.S. orders of $100 or more. Start getting your best night's sleep this fall with Boll & Branch. For a limited time, get 20% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/beautiful. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/beautiful for 20% off and free shipping. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
There's something powerful about women who are unapologetically themselves. I've always been inspired by Marilyn Monroe, whose beauty isn't just in her appearance, it's in her confidence and her authenticity. She doesn't shy away from imperfections because she doesn't have any, but that's something truly I admire. Her beauty really radiates from the inside out, and it's this kind of energy that makes her stand out. For over 10 years, Thrive Cosmetics has celebrated the strength and beauty of women who inspire us. But it's more than just makeup. It's about becoming your best self, thriving in every moment, and empowering others to do the same. And that's why I love Thrive Cosmetics. Not only are their products certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, but they're also made with clean, skin-loving ingredients and high-performance formulas. Plus, for every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates products and funds to help communities thrive. It feels amazing knowing that my favorite Thrive products are supporting communities I care about. One product I absolutely love is the Brilliant Eye Brightener. This eyeshadow highlighter stick instantly brightens and opens your eyes, giving you an effortless, refreshed look. It's so easy to apply and blend. And with 28 shades, there's a perfect one for every occasion. Celebrate the women in your life with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/beauty. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSE, medics.com/beauty for 20% off your first order.
Hey there. Ritual here to give a big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. The magic of those family moments, that was you. And now there's new milestones to prep for in 2025. This new year, check clean, quality pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list with Ritual. We've done the research to create science-backed pregnancy support like our prenatal multivitamin, natal choline, and fertility support, all designed to be taken alongside each other. But don't just take our word for it. They're also third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals and Clean Label Project certified. So whether you're trying, thinking about trying, or already there, we don't have to tell you that prioritizing yourself can be the hardest part. That's why we're helping you get started today with 30% off a 3-month supply for a limited time at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thanks again to our advertisers. Now let's finish off the phone call. 21 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
What else would you like to talk about?
Oh, man. I don't know. What should we talk about? Well, what are you doing for the rest of your day? What are your plans for today?
Let's see. I am leaving tomorrow for a tour. I'm going up and down the East Coast. One of the comedians I'm traveling with, the great Eddie Pepitone, will be staying at my house a few days. So I got to clean up the room I'm sitting in right now, which is totally trashed. I got to change the sheets on the bed in the spare bedroom that I use as my recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
I have a meeting. It was just announced. I got a little writing deal with Sony Television, which is nice to feel like that side of my career. You know, I think a lot of people, maybe myself at times, were wondering if maybe that was totally done. But the nice people at Sony said, no, you got some good ideas. Come work for us. I got a meeting about that. I got to mow my lawn. I got to do my laundry. I got to send a bunch of emails about Laughing Together, the nonprofit thing that I do. So I keep myself very busy and I have a very lucky life.
Oh, hey.
But it's one of those, you ever have one of those days where you sit there, you look at the calendar and you go, there's not enough hours for the amount of bullshit on my to-do list. I got one of those. Plus, I got to scan everything for the Beautiful Anonymous magazine, which has proven to be a real uphill climb because we got so much great stuff.
Oh my God. I was just thinking, like, what time is it even there? Like, are you going to be able to get all that done?
It's noon, and I feel like the answer is no. I will not be getting everything done. And I'm stressed out about it. But I also want to live a life where I don't, I have stretches of life where I don't feel as much stress, and those are good stretches.
Yeah.
And I sort of feel like part of getting older is figuring out how do you elongate the stretches with no stress. How does that happen? Is that a matter of time? Is that a matter of money? Is that a matter of sacrifice? How do you elongate these stretches where stress is not dominant? And I'm falling into a stress-dominant stretch right now, and I'm not thrilled about it. So that's not me at my best. But I got a good, lucky life. Good, lucky life.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you doing the rest of the day?
What am I doing? I have the day off today. I gotta go grocery shopping, get everything for my week of work. Same thing, gotta just clean up, change my sheets. I want to go get another piercing, so I'm probably gonna do that.
Another piercing? How many piercings do you have?
Let me think. 17, I think.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Can I ask which areas you have pierced? A lot of piercings.
Yeah, I know. I have my ears done. I have 4 on each ear. And then I have my nose done twice, like a nostril piercing. And then I have my septum pierced. I have my lip pierced. I have my nipples pierced. I have my belly button pierced twice. And then I want to go get my tongue frenulum pierced again. I had it pierced before, but with having to get all my MRIs and everything done for surgery, it was a pain in the ass taking everything out.
Oh my goodness!
So I just want to go get it
so
redone.
Many piercings to remove. Okay, first of all, that rules. Second of all, when did you become so passionate about, if not a little addicted to piercings?
When I was about probably 16, 17. I'm covered in tattoos too. I'm
When
very
you say covered. You say covered. What percentage of your body?
Well, okay, not covered, but I have a full sleeve that goes up and then across the top of my back. I have my neck done. I have my stomach done. I have my a little piece on my sternum. I have my one leg is my thigh is covered, the back of my thigh is covered, the other side of my thigh is covered. I have them on my ribs, down my leg. So I don't know, maybe probably maybe 50% at this point.
Wow. Now I'm struck by something, and again, just wondering about defying any expectations. And if I'm thinking of things in a small-minded way, please do let me know. If you had 17 piercings and that many tattoos, and you lived here in New Jersey, which is the most densely populated state, and I live about an hour from Manhattan, you could be hanging out there all the time. You would still be presenting through all of that art on your body and the piercings on your body.
Yeah.
As a person living, how would I phrase it? You're setting yourself, that's an alternative lifestyle in a lot of people's view. 6 hours north of Kamloops, I have to imagine it feels even more pronounced. I feel like you just described a person where if I saw you in Manhattan, I'd go, whoa, they're living it. They're living that tattoo piercing lifestyle. It's a lifestyle choice. And in a small place, that means there's probably, it makes you stand out more, and there's probably less people to find camaraderie with. But I could be wrong about all of that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. My town's not super small. There's 81,000 people here, so it's not tiny, right? But it's definitely not a big city like Vancouver or New York. But my best friend, I have right now, I dye my hair all sorts of different colors too. I very rarely have my natural brown hair. Right now it's purple, and my best friend, her hair is blue. So I I definitely find my people to be around, and I don't find that it's very uncommon. It's fairly common for me to go around town and see people with funky hair, or expressing themselves with their tattoos, piercings, or what they decide to wear.
That's cool. I was wrong. Closed-minded of me. But these are choices. You've made choices. You've made choices.
Yeah.
You're 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
You can handle your shit. You grew up with a childhood where you were a little bit separated from the other kids at times and in certain ways. And now as an adult,
Yeah.
you've also gone like, I'm gonna, I always felt like growing up in the punk rock scene, you would see people. I always felt like the people who were like dyeing their hair and putting them up in spikes or getting piercings, part of that was saying like, don't fuck with me. Like I'm doing things my
Yeah.
way, back off. And I wonder if that's part of that style for you as well.
Um, not really. Like I don't know if I even really realized when I started like that it was for a specific reason. I just started dyeing my hair. Like I remember I was dyeing my hair in like grade 5 and 6. Like it's been a long time that I get so bored of a hair color, and it's the easiest thing about yourself that you can change. And it's like it's just hair dye. It's just hair. If something happens, I mean, whatever, cut it and start over again. But I don't know. I don't think I was doing it for any specific reason other than maybe it was my way, now that I'm thinking about it, to express myself a little bit, because of the fact that I was never in friend groups or anything in elementary or even high school. Like I was never super social with anybody. So I was just kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool to hear. It's cool to hear that, with us having a 20-year age difference, the perspective on that is slightly different. Slightly different. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are doing your own thing, you're embracing that, you're showing it off, but it doesn't feel like it has as much of an aggression or an intentional outcasting as people of my generation would view
Yeah.
different colored hair, piercings, tattoos. I mean, I'm old enough
Yeah.
to remember that tattoos was like bikers, sailors, or people who had maybe committed a crime. When I was very
Yeah.
young, that was still kind of the view of them. And now, I mean, I've got tattoos. Everybody's got tattoos, but I'm old enough to remember when it was like, oh, that's you're either a sailor or a biker, or maybe served time, and tattoos are for people like that, everybody. Like that was still the common conception of it when I was a kid. That's not the case
Yeah.
for you at all.
And it's funny because I'm not sure why I really got into tattoos and piercings. Like I always said, I will never have tattoos on my legs. I will never like have my neck done. Like I'm never going to do that. I just want like one on my back and like that's it kind of thing. Because my mom and dad don't have tattoos. A lot of my family members don't have tattoos. They don't have a bunch of piercings. Like my sister doesn't have a bunch of tattoos or piercings or anything. Like I'm very much a little bit of the outcast. But I remember being kind of not scared, but I was nervous when I got my neck done, because I'm like, oh my God, what are my parents going to think, being like, I'm like 21 years old and I can do it if I want to, but I'm like, oh my God, like, are they going to understand?
Yeah. 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 It's cool. It's cool to think about who you are as you've described yourself. And in my mind, I mean, you've made it so clear, like, no, I live in a small city. It's not Kamloops, but it's a city. But in my mind, I'm like, you're like driving a truck covered in bulldozers through the frozen tundra of far northern Canada with your cool hair and tattoos and piercings, and you're just the most specific badass of all time.
Well, I mean, I'll take that as a compliment any day.
Yeah. But I bet you get that a lot. People must think you're badass pretty often.
Sometimes, like at work, sometimes I get like the older customers being like, when they find out that I did work in the shop, or if they still know me from when I was in the shop, they're like, wow, like this is so cool. You never see women doing this, or people comment on my tattoos or ask me about them and everything. But a lot of the times I feel like people, I don't know if I want to seem intimidated, but I just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because of my height, because of the way that I look, people don't like want to approach me or talk to me, but I don't know, maybe it's because I have resting bitch face sometimes. I'm not sure. Sorry, Sally.
I mean, all of these factors do add up, right? I'm kidding here, but I'm like, man, if you also have resting bitch face and you're big enough to kick my ass and you've got badass tattoos and you just rolled up to the scene driving a fucking excavator, at some point I'm going to go, probably not the first person I mess with.
I did a boxing class too.
How'd you do in it?
Oh, it was so good. It was awesome. I loved it. It was a 5-week class. I'm gonna do it again.
How far did we take it in the fight? Like by the end of 5 weeks, are you sparring people?
No, it was called a women's boxer fit class. So it was basically just, yeah, like they were just showing us all the moves, but adding in a bunch of like cardio and everything with it too.
That's good. Because in my mind, it would not have shocked me. Like it was either going to be that or a thing where you're like, oh yeah, no, there's a bar that closes down after hours at night and we have like fight clubs and I participate in them. Like if you said that, I wouldn't even blink at this point in the call.
You know, and it's funny because for some reason I've always wanted to fight someone. I don't know why. I have that like want. I've never been in a fight, but I've always wanted to.
Yeah, this all tracks. This all tracks for sure. Doesn't sound like it would even be aggressive, just some more of like a test of natural dominance of some sort.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I don't know though. Those herniated discs might make a fighting career an impossibility.
Yeah. Now I'm screwed. If I tried it before, maybe.
Damn. Can I ask what, and if you don't want to go there, we haven't been there yet, but you've painted such a picture of where you live, who you are. I'm wondering, dating life. Is there anything to report? Anything we want the world to know? Or is that something you go, I keep that close to the vest?
No, I really, honestly, I've been told so much that I actually share too much. I don't really care about what I tell people. But I'm single. I've been single for a year and a half or so now. And I haven't really been interested in dating. Like I'm kind of the person that I'm like, I really don't care if I have a boyfriend or not. Like I'm cool without. If I have one, great, but I'm not actively searching for anything.
Do you think there'll be more of a dating pool when you get to British Columbia's 12th largest municipality, Kamloops? Is it part of the appeal?
Know.
Is it part of the appeal?
No, it's
BC.
not even, because I'm so picky because you know what? It's hard because of my height. I don't like guys shorter than me.
Oh,
and it's sparse. It's so sparse.
Yeah, and you're 6 foot, you said?
Yeah.
Let alone if you want to wear heels.
Exactly. I mean, I do not dress up ever, but
but even shoes that add an extra inch, even a pair of boots.
Yeah.
We're talking
cowboy boots. That adds inches.
We're talking you need a guy who's like 6'5", 6'6", and who's also not going to be threatened by your chosen career.
Mm-hmm.
And who's not going to be intimidated by your piercings and tattoos.
Yeah, like my ex. We don't want that.
Oh, no. Your ex couldn't handle it?
No.
Why? Why not? What was the deal here?
No. Oh, well, I could say that after I had my second surgery, we got back home. He came with me down there, and we got back home, and, I had to take the garbage out. I shoveled the driveway because he just, yeah, he was, I don't know, too lazy, too something. I don't know.
And everybody's also smoking weed all the time in Vancouver, right? You're in BC.
I mean, yeah.
Was he a pothead too? Was he a lazy pothead?
You know what? I say that I use it for my back. And I do. It does help. It definitely relaxes me a little bit.
That's good. That's what it's there for. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if you're dating somebody, and I don't even care about, I'm not even saying a guy should shovel the snow. I'm saying that when you live 6 hours north of Kamloops, I imagine it snows a lot, and that maybe if your partner has had multiple back surgeries, you shovel the fucking snow.
You would think so, right?
Doesn't seem like rocket science to me. But hey, what do I
Yeah,
know?
you would think so. I know, I didn't think it was either, but clearly it is to some people.
What is he? He's
And
in
I
there.
was like,
What's he in there playing Call of Duty or something like that? Grand Theft Auto.
oh my God,
Gamer,
Chris,
right?
oh my God.
As soon as I hear
one day.
Yeah.
Oh, one day I came home. I kid you not. I was so ready to like just kick him out and be like, get out of my life. Like I came home, I came downstairs into our suite, and he's sitting there, pokes his head out from playing on the game. Dishes are in the sink. Dog hasn't been fed. Cats haven't been fed. He pokes his head out and then gets up. He goes, oh, you're home. Gets up, goes over to the couch and puts his feet up in the freaking lazy boy. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Listen, I got nothing against gamers. I'm just saying, when I heard that you had back surgery and were still shoveling the snow and dissatisfied with your partner not stepping up to help, I'm just saying I immediately did identify correctly.
Yeah.
This was probably somebody who's way too into video games as an adult.
I just have a problem with lazy people.
I would think so, as somebody who has spread playgrounds across the upper Pacific Northwest of Canada, like Johnny Appleseed once spread apples around America. Someone who was driving excavators at the age of 10, laziness cannot be an appealing quality for you. And
No.
I imagine the phrase, I imagine you can't hear the phrase like, babe, I'm just finishing up one game. Like, you can't hear that more than a couple times before someone is just outright unattractive. I don't care if they've got a 6-pack of abs and are the hottest person in the world. Babe, I just let me get to another save point. Like, you can't hear that and not go like, this person's unattractive.
Yeah, like literally get out right now, please. Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, no way. No way.
Like, I mean, absolutely. Have your hobbies, play your games, do your thing, but I don't know, have limits for yourself. You have responsibilities still. You're an adult.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Don't fall down that track. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. When are we making the jump to Kamloops? When are we jumping over there?
I don't know. Probably not until my parents move.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a family oriented person. Like, I go over to my mom and dad's house every weekend to see them, because now that I don't live at home, I always got to go see them. So once they move, I'll be like, I'm lonely. I need my family. So, and their place is for sale. So, I mean, whenever.
Where are they going?
If they get something, they want to go down to the same area, Kamloops area.
Who knew Kamloops was such a happening burg? Everybody's.
Well, it's like I said, like, it's kind of central-ish, like it's close to the interior where I am, to the Caribou, but it's also close to
You've seen
Vancouver.
Caribou?
Like, it's not super far away.
You just see a caribou?
Oh yeah, we see moose, we see bear. I run into bears all the time on my walks. Run into moose, bunch of deer. Like, I was driving home yesterday.
Have you ever had a day where you've seen more caribou than humans?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No.
Our time is up. This call has been delightful. One of my favorites. I would say in general, if I had to describe this call, I'd say sure, there's the injury story and there's you having a very specific life, but mostly I like talking to somebody who lives in a part of the world and with a lifestyle so different than mine, but where I still feel like on a basic level there's some kinship there, there's some friendship there.
Yeah.
It's been
No,
lovely.
I love talking to you, Chris. I could not believe I got on. I was in shock.
Well, I love it. And I hope that someday you wind up in BC's 12th largest municipality. And you're like effectively trying to move to like the Wilmington, Delaware of the BC. Like if I think of New York as the largest municipality, I love it. You're just trying to move to a Wilmington, Delaware sized city. We're gonna say goodbye to everybody on the free feed. Are you down to hang out a couple minutes and answer our infamous 5 questions that people can sign up for over at beautifulanonymous.com?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Caller, thank you so much for sharing, for letting us know about your accident, but also just letting us know about your life, your goals, your ornamentation, your art choices, your lifestyle choices, your hair, your tattoos, and everything else. It was a joy to talk to you. Thank you to our producer, Andrea Quinn, even if you sometimes hang up on people as they reveal the most tender things in their lives. Thank you to Shell Shag for our theme music. If you want to know more about me, including my live show dates, go to punchup.live/Chris Gethard. And if you want to leave a voicemail, the number for that is 973-306-4676. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Beautiful Anonymous Pod. If you want to discuss episodes with other people who listen, go to Beautiful Anonymous, the community on Facebook. This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions. Would you rather have a shark fin or a kangaroo pouch?
Oh boy, a pouch. I can carry my dog and my cats around.
I think that's a very fun question to hear it, but every single person who has ever been asked it on this show thinks about it for 4
That's
seconds.
a different answer.
Like, no, they're all like, a pouch. You put your keys in it, but you never lose your cell phone.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with a shark fin? I don't even live in the water.
Yeah. What are you going to do with it?
I know. What would be the adjustment? Is there a similar utility? Like, would you rather have a kangaroo pouch or a blank? Because shark fin is purely ornamental in a way where you're like, who would... Kangaroo pouch has so many things I could use it for. It's a flawed question, but it is fun. Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.